Let's see here. John, you asked a question. When does Shabbat start? Is it from sundown Saturday or does it start Sunday, sunrise? Okay, so John, there is, as many of you already know, John, Shabbat starts, and every day starts at sunrise. Okay. Right now, the Shabbat is on what we know as the pagan day Sunday until the spring equinox. So today is Shabbat, and it'll end tomorrow, as we say tomorrow, but it is when the sun is starting to come up is when the Shabbat ends. So it's from sunrise to sunrise. Carmen, please explain Leviticus 2. What part of Leviticus 2? There is 16 verses here, Carmen. Who is this Karina person? That's probably a bot. Oh, what was read? Yeah, so this has to do with the Levitical priesthood when they would put offerings before Yahuwah, that Yahuwah wanted all the meat to be seasoned, right? Or even the grain offerings, in fact. So not only the meat, but even the grain offerings. So, and season with salt every offering of your grain offering, and do not allow the salt of the agreement of your Alua Alahim to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you bring salt. So here it's talking about the grain offerings, but then it says with all your offerings bring salt. And if you bring a grain offer of the first fruits to Yahuwah, bring for the grain offering of your first fruits green heads of grain roasted on the fire, crushed heads of new grain. And you shall put oil on it and lay frank incense on it. It is a grain offering. So not only do you put salt, but you're going to also put some oil. You're going to pour oil on it, and you're going to also put some frank incense on it. And then you put it all together, and the priest shall burn the remembrance portion from its crushed grains and from its oil with all the frank incense and offering made by fire to Yahuwah. Yes, Shishi. The green heads and the crushed heads. So like, like when you look at some of the grains, what we would call like plants, and you would see how it's budding, that budding part of the plant, that's the heads. And even the ones that have been crushed, you bring them as well. Like it popped open, or like the seed might have fell out, you bring it. Also the goat, yes. Yes, indeed. Let's see. What else did I miss here? Questions. No religion. We are followers of the way. That's right, Luis Espinoza. Malik Root. Oh, Malik was the one I was asking what religion is this. I got a nephew named Malik. So, speaking of salt, have you guys heard about, and I don't know how true this is, but it's got me questioning about the Himalayan salt. Do you guys know what I'm talking about the Himalayan salt? No, Carmen, we don't do any of those. As far as the offerings and the sacrifices, all that stuff has been done away with our Messiah. Yes, so I see somebody said about the giants. Exactly. I don't know how true that is, but I've seen some ones that were cut from the side and it looks like marbleized, like muscle tissue and fat. It's crazy. So I don't think I'm going to be using Himalayan salt anymore. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Alma. Is it possible? Yes, I believe it is possible. And if that is the case, that would be like eating, like a pig or eating a human. It grossed me out too, Carol. Yep. And I'm sticking to the other salt too. I am steering away from Himalayan salt. You know how things just all of a sudden just become like the fad, you know? Because before nobody heard of Himalayan salt, and then all of a sudden now you start hearing about, oh, Himalayan salt this and Himalayan salt that and Himalayan salt this. And now I come to find out this Himalayan salt might be fossilized giants. So nasty. And think about this, right? You know how pigs are very salty meat? Pork is very salty. Imagine that all of a sudden being encased and buried very rapidly. And then you cut it and you thinking it's all salt, but it ain't salt. It's actually the meat of a pig. And pig is salty. You don't even need to season pig meat because it's already got salt in it. That is so gross. I'm done with the Himalayan salt. Loaded with heavy metals, yeah? Mm, that is so gross. Well, Nalia, the thing is if you think about it, you might say, okay, because the whole earth was covered by water at one point, right? Or not only one point, but more than once, right? Certain areas, even more than that. So, there's a chance that you can find that there's salt in certain areas, but, it's just crazy that this salt looks like frozen meat. Oh, Luis, that's great. You and Betty gave up pork? Yes. Yes. It's a wonderful thing. And then, too, we've also been told that the Himalayan mountains used to be the bed of the ocean and it was thrusted up because of cataclysmic events that thrusted that the crust of the earth to make it like literally the tallest mountain range on the earth, right? They're saying that you can find like seashells up in the mountains up there. Now, I can tell you the mountains here in Nevada, outside of Vegas, I can see it right outside my window. This mountain stands at 12,000 feet. And at the 9,000 foot level, I have found little seashells. Yep. And I'm living out here in the middle of the desert. But there is seashells up on top of that mountain. Oh, Nalia, that is great. You never tasted pig? Ooh, girl, you don't know what you're missing. No, honestly, it's beautiful that you are not eating or never have tasted that mess. Yep, Chanel, I believe that to be so as well. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time that I purposely ate pig. And when I say purposely, because they kind of hide it in some of these things, and you don't even know sometimes that you just ingested something that has to do with swine. Yep, Alma, they are doing that. I can't say it here on YT, but yes, exactly what you just said. That is so true, and we have to be careful with, especially a lot of fast food places. They will put it in the meat. That's what's so scary about ground beef, because you don't know what that meat is that has been grounded to that substance. Funny, just threw out bacon and ham. I didn't realize what was in the freezer. Yes, Louise and Betty. Yeah, you got to be careful, especially stuff that's grounded up like hot dogs and burgers. Any of the meat that is just like they can hide some stuff in it, right? This is why, like, when I eat steak, I like to see the bone. Like, humans don't have a T-bone in their body at all. We just don't have that kind of body structure or bone structure. So, like, when I eat T-bones, I mean, when I eat a steak, I like to see the T-bone. Yes, Kathy. Yep, that KFC ad. Oh yeah, that's so gross. Oh, Diane, that is so nasty. But yep. Is the organic meat okay, Nina? Even the word organic, because they throw that on everything now, right? So even when you see kosher or organic, you might as well just be buying normal meat because you don't even know what it really is. They just plaster that on there, and it makes people say, "Oh, this is organic." These people lie to us like the government. You hear what I'm saying? So you just have to do your due diligence and look into what you're purchasing. That's pretty much all I can tell you. If you can go to a butcher shop, is probably the best, where you can actually know, and the person where you bought it from, they can tell you about where they get their meat and how the beef was raised. Alexis, yeah, that is getting to that point. Like, I'm almost to the point where I only want to eat certain types of fish, of course, that are clean, and limit my red meat to just lamb, only lamb. They're a more expensive meat, but at least I know it's lamb or goat. Oh yes, Chanel, you live in Lancaster, PA, huh? Are you still going to come out and see us when we get there to Philly, King of Prussia? Are we doing Leviticus 19:18? We talked about that earlier today, Zara. Okay, okay, Chanel. So yes, Leviticus 19:18. Let me go there. For those of you who may not know what it says there, we talked about this earlier. That was what we were doing about loving our neighbor as ourselves. We spent about almost 2 hours of that. I'm in Jersey, but have sister-in-law in Lancaster. Okay, well, we're going to be in King of Prussia, and I will be going over to Jersey as well. Our Aki Victor is going to want to get immersed, so we're going to cross the bridge over the Delaware River into Jersey. And we're going up to New York City. New York City? Yeah, we're going to NYC as well. hmm And the purpose of doing that is, one, to meet the mishpachah that are over there, that I'm able to see and they're able to see us, and for immersion purposes as well, in the name of Yahusha. Yes, exactly, Chanel. We are going to be doing that. Dominic, is the earth round or flat? The earth is flat. Let me show you here. Let's go to Isaiah. Yashayahu, chapter 40. Notice what it says here. Chapter 40, verse, let me blow this up a little bit. 22. It is he who sits above the circle. It doesn't say sphere, circle of the earth. And its inhabitants are like grasshoppers. Who stretches out the Shamayim like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. So now it says that he stretches the tent, or he stretches the heavens like a tent. So picture that for a moment. I'm using my hands. Let me back this out so you can see my hands better. It's like, kind of like a snow globe, right? You know how you have the cover. The heavens is like a tent over the earth. You can't do that on a ball. But on a flat plane, which is why they call it planet, remove the T and they're telling you exactly what it is. They put spells on us. So they changed the word and they add a T to plane, and you think of it as being a planet, a round ball. But it's not a round ball. He sits above the circle. He sits above the flat plane. So that is Isaiah 40, verse 22. Well, come on down, Susie. When I get to NYC, come on down, Akodi Shoshana. We would love to see you as well. We're going to be there in, I want to say 24th or the 25th, probably the 25th, or maybe even the 26th of August. We will be in NYC. Let's see, Nalia, you say, brother, is it okay to halal? Is it okay to halal? Halal on what, Nalia? Any other verses for flat earth that comes to mind? Well, we know of one in Enoch chapter 72 where it talks about how the sun, eat halal meat. Well, okay, so the Muslims, or I shouldn't say Muslims, the Arabs call pretty much what the Jewish people call kosher. Halal is their version of the kosher, right? But there's some things to that because, again, they barak the meat, and that's what makes it halal meat. You know what I mean? So because they barak it in the name of Allah, I would steer clear of it. That's me personally. But again, we know that there is no such thing as Allah, even though they believe in that. So if you don't know that this meat, like you went over to an Arab's house and they gave you some meat that's brought before you, and long as you ask no questions, you know that they're not going to eat pork because most Muslims don't. So you eat it before you. But if you know that this is halal meat, then you know that this has been prayed over by what do they call them? Man, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. What do they call their religious? I can't even remember the name now. Imam. They have an imam pray over it. If you know that they have an imam pray over it, I would not eat it. That's just me personally. Let's see what else here. When they landed on the moon, they had a photographer go ahead of them. Well, maybe not. Exactly, Mike. That's funny. Hey, Mike, but you bring up a great point, right? Now think about this. So for those of you who've seen, in fact, let me pull this thing up. Hold on one second, right? let's look at this. Let's see. Picture taken of the Earth from the moon, right? Okay, let me show you guys this. Now you guys tell me what's wrong with this. Okay, this right here. Let's see if we can get that to come out bigger. Let's see, images. Now this we're supposed to believe is supposed to be the picture of the Earth from the moon, okay? What is wrong with this picture? Can anybody guess? What is wrong with this picture that we're seeing right here? This is the moon's surface, supposedly, and that's supposed to be the Earth back there. What is wrong with this picture? Anybody? Anybody would like to take a gander of this? Okay. Let me tell you what is the problem here. Now, when we were in, and I say when we were because I'm sure all of us are out of school, like out of elementary school and junior high school and high school, but we were told, yeah, there is no stars to see for sure. But here's the issue. We're told that the Earth is much bigger than the moon. In fact, I think they say it's something like 100 times the size, or maybe not that big, but larger than the moon for sure, right? Why does the Earth look like the same size as the moon when we see it at night? If this was true and the Earth is much bigger than the moon, this should be in your full view. You should see nothing but the Earth, literally, in front of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? The size difference itself, this is where they messed up. That's where they messed up. The Earth should look way bigger than it looks right there. Way bigger. In fact, let me ask you the question. According to Google, what's the difference in size of the Earth and the moon? Let me go there. Okay, let me ask the question. What? Oh, let me back that up. Let me erase that. What is the size difference of the Earth and the moon? Let's see what it says here. The moon is a bit more than a quarter the size of the Earth. Okay, do you guys see that here? The moon is a bit more than 1/4, or 27% to be exact, the size of the Earth. A much larger ratio, so it's 1 to 4, than any other planets and their moons. Earth moon is the 5th largest moon, whatever. Oh, that's a lie. But now let's go back here. So with this being said, and this is the moon surface that we're seeing in the gray, this thing right here, if this was the actual Earth, it should be 4 times that size. Arian, I know you might want to believe that the Earth is a sphere. I'm sorry, but it's not. Arian, you have no idea what you're talking about, because the sun is the reason for the seasons. The sun is not as big as you think it is. It's much smaller than the Earth. And it's much closer to the Earth than you think it is. It's the sun that moves, not the Earth. The Earth is stationary. This is why the only pictures that you have are all CGI of the so-called space. None of it, and I mean none of it. Even according to NASA, it's all CGI. All of it. So let me show you another one that talks about the Earth being flat from the Apocrypha. Let me bring it here. And let's go to Enoch 72. Let's bring this down. Exactly, Nalia. Sun moves, that's why Joshua held the sun during a war. Exactly. It was the sun that stood still, not the earth, because if the earth stood still, according to those who believe in the planetary model, then the earth would have stopped moving. And then where goes the gravity, right? If you believe in that mess. But anyways, right here in Enoch, chapter 72, notice what it says here, verse 5. The chariot on which he ascends, talking about the sun, okay. Let me back up. Let's read this part here. And the first goes out, that great luminary named the sun, and his circumference. We know what a circumference is, right? Anybody know what a circumference is? What's a circumference? What's a circumference? Yes, exactly, Queen. Exactly, Nick, Diane. Yep. Circumference is a circle. It's like the circle of the heaven. It's letting you know that when you look up at the sky, you was to lay on your back, the whole sky would look like a big old circle. And he, the sun, is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. The chariot on which he, meaning the sun is the one that's moving. That's what a chariot does. It's a mode of operation of a vehicle, right? So the sun ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east. And is so guided that he comes to the appropriate portal and shines in the face of the heavens. So now let's go and look at this real quick. Let me show you a model of what it means when it talks about the earth in this sense here. So let me bring up my, where is it here? Flat earth diagrams. Here we go. So let me pull this one up right here. This one. Okay, let me show you guys this. Oh, Arian got himself in trouble. He has to go stand in the corner. All right, let me pull this up here. Okay, many of you can probably see where the United Snakes of America is, which is right here. Okay. Now imagine the sun. Okay. As let's use this little eraser as the sun, right? Say this is the sun. And the sun goes in a clockwise fashion, right? This is how it would move across the earth, of the surface of the earth, right? This is how it would go. Now, what I'm getting at is this. Let's say we're all living in the United Snakes of America, just for instance, because I know some of you probably live in a different area of the earth, but let's just say you live here in the United Snakes. The sun is here. You see it moving from east to west. The sun sets in the west, right? As it goes further away, of course, you're not going to see it anymore because it goes out of your sight. But it's going towards the west, up through the north, to come back to the appropriate portal to the east, so it rises again in the east. So no matter where you live on the earth, if you live in Australia, the same thing is coming towards you from the east, setting in the west, and is going back towards the north, because north of Australia is the other side, so it can come back to the appropriate portal in the east. That's what we're reading right here in the book of Enoch. Verse 5. The sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east. And that's exactly what you just saw me try to show you here. The sun goes to the west, and from your position, wherever you're at, the sun is going to have to go to the opposite side of the earth to return back to the east to your location again. And the only way it can get there is it has to go through the north to come back around to get to the east. So from your vantage point, like we're here in the United States of America, when the sun goes to this side to light up in China and in Russia and in India, it is north of us. It's over here. This is United States of America. We will be facing north for the sun to come back towards the east. All right. Right, Queen, exactly. Yes, Diane, that's why they don't want people to go to Antarctica, because that would just let the cat out the bag, and they don't want everyone to know that Yahuwah is true. He is real. His word is real. But people need to see evidence, and sometimes, even though you show them evidence, they still not going to be obedient, just like Satan and the fallen angels. In TORAH active, yes, I call the United States the United Snakes. There's a lot of evil ones that live in this United Snakes of America. They're serpents. Yep, they believe the lies. They are serpent at its finest, I tell you. You know? Oh yeah, there's snakes all over, but none better than the United Snakes. That's why the United Snakes rules the world as the only sole empire left. But she has her day coming. She has her day coming. She is the hammer of the earth. Dominique Ray, there is a space station with astronauts around orbiting the earth. Yes, yes. There are if you or anyone wants to believe that there is a space station up there and that is traveling, I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but they're still underneath the firmament. They're not in space, as they like to tell us. They're still under the dome. No one can leave the dome. No one. Yes, I live in the United Snakes of America. Exactly, Chanel. Operation Fishbowl. Know it very well. That's right, Diane. Tarot, what do you mean? Why? What is the question? Why? Do you care to elaborate, expound on your question of why? Why what? Why live with snakes? The problem is because one, I got family here. Two, I have a mission to do here in Babylon, and I am not gonna tuck my tail and run. There's work to be done here. There's work to be done here, and this is where he has me right now. Until that day comes, then I shall leave this place. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us would like to leave this country. It has definitely changed for the worse and not for the better. But you know, this is why he has us here. We have to take care of what we got to do. There's a lot of our people that are stuck in the matrix here in the United Snakes, and we are the ones that need to bring it to them. That's right, Lewis. That's right, Deborah. We got to stay here until he brings us out of this captivity. That's okay, Dominique. That's why we put our trust in him and not in any man or any system. Yes, yes, Shishi. Hallelujah. Keep your husband Manuel in Palau. He has an immigration interview in September in Juarez. Okay. Ooh wee. You know, that's the craziest thing, Dominique. Not only do we have to worry about the racist cops, but we need to worry about the racist politicians as well. Because it's the racist politicians that give the power to the racist cops to do what they're doing. That's right, Deborah. Let our light so shine that we give all the esteem to Abba Yahuwah. The other countries are falling into war because of the dictates and the policies of this country. This country is what is causing the instability of all these other countries. Imagine for a second, Constance, if Israel was not provided all of these weapons by this country. That would level the playing field between them and the Gazans, would it not? Now they have to go out and fight amongst these Gazans without having these wonderful war machines that they've been given. It's the same thing with every place on this earth right now. You name it, the United States is providing weapons of destruction. Look at Ukraine. President Trump says that he is vowing to give Ukraine more instruments of war to attack Russia. If they didn't do that, Russia would have never went into Ukraine. It's the same thing what happened in Iraq. It's the same thing what happened in Korea, where I'm from. It's the same thing that happened to Japan in World War II. It's the same thing what happened in Germany. It's the same thing what's going down in Venezuela right now as we speak. It's the same thing what's getting ready to happen between the United States and China over Taiwan. Yep, you're right, Akodi Nazareth. It's so true. It's so true. And me being a byproduct of the military, look, I have nothing against our servicemen and women in the military. Unfortunately, many of them sign on the dotted line without even realizing. This is why they take them so young out of high school. Okay? They take them out of high school, take them to boot camp, break them down, build them back up through basic training, indoctrinate them even more than what they were already indoctrinated going from kindergarten to 12th grade. And they make them soldiers to fight on behalf of corporate America and for the Zionists. And this has been going on for decades. This has been going on since the inception of this country. all the way back to 1776. Yep. Yep, in the name of patriotism. And that's why patriotism is a spirit. Patriotic spirit is a real thing. Go to a football game and let them play the national anthem and you don't stand up and put your hand over your heart or take off your cap. There's going to be those people around you who will say something to you and say, you better stand up. What are you, anti-United States? You anti-American? Oh, they try to put you out there. They did it to me before. That's why I'm talking about it. Yep. But it's just like everything else. Like what I shared before yesterday, before I got kicked off of TT. You can say anything about this country, they'll let it slide. Say something against Israel. Say something against the Zionists. And see what they do to you. They'll fight you over Israel before they fight you over the United States, here in the United States. Okay, Cody Chanel, have a great rest of your Layla, your night. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. Even though tomorrow is Shabuat for the Feast of New Wine. Yes, Trinita, I was kicked off yesterday on TT for speaking against Israel and for using a word retard in the wrong way about the algorithm of TT, and they shut me down for a week. That's right, Nazareth. I couldn't have said that any better. Nazareth said, let me repeat what she says. If you ever want to know who runs everything, observe who you're not allowed to talk about. Exactly. Exactly. Use Nimrod next time. Yeah. Yes, Deborah, tomorrow is the Feast of New Wine. Mm-hmm. But again, like I've shared with you all before, all you got to do is look at the back of the dollar bill and you'll see that Zionism has been here since the beginning of this country. They have masqueraded it with the 13 stars above the eagle's head in the shape of the so-called Star of David. That's what I'm going to do, Cody Stella. I'm going to drink me some red wine tomorrow. Yep. The fruit of the vine. Yes, he was, Diane. Oh, Dominique. There's a lot of information on the so-called invention of these Jewish people. Like if you ever read, it's called the 13th tribe. That's another one. Yeah. Oh, B. Oh, whoa. Ali got the business. Ali, what did you do? You upsetted both of my moderators. They was on you like white on rice. You done did some no-nos. They gave you a two-piece. They gave you a two-piece. Boy, I tell you, you better be careful coming into this room. We don't place that. honestly, long as people are respectful, we don't mind you coming in, even if you disagree. But being respectful and disagreeing is one thing. When you come out here being blatantly disrespectful, no, we don't have time for that. Three piece, three piece. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we ain't talking about chickens either. So what is the book about? Firehat, are you talking about this book in front of me that's sitting here? Without biscuits. Is this what you're talking about? Yes. So this is the Apocrypha. As you can see here, it talks about how it has the book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, the book of Jubilees, and a few other books in it. This is the smaller version of the apocryphal writings. I have more than this in the bigger one, that is the 100 book, or the 100 book Apocrypha. Let me turn on my light over here. Read some? Oh, well, we was reading earlier. Yeah, Enoch is a really great book. We're just doing some questions and answering right now. We've been on for 5 hours today. So I'm not that I'm read out, but just kind of going with questions and answers, keeping it nice and lighthearted. Yeah, exactly, some dude. We've been on for over almost 5 hours now. Firehead, there are parts of some of the Apocryphas, not going to lie to you, that is against or is not in unison with the 66 so-called books of the Bible. But I will tell you this, the book of Enoch lines up with the Bible. The book of Jubilees lines up with the Bible. The book of Jasher, not so much. Let me show you some other ones here. Let me take you to the contents. Okay, so we have Tobit is pretty sound. Judith is pretty sound. Wisdom is pretty sound. Sirach, most of it is pretty sound. There seems to be some added additions because Sirach was a Hellenistic Jew, meaning that he was exposed to Greek philosophy, so you kind of see it in some of his writings. Baruch lines up with scripture. First and Second Maccabees, which is historical records, lines up. I have not read Third and Fourth, so I can't really speak on that. First Esdras lines up. Second Esdras lines up. Of course, I said Enoch and Jubilees does. Jasher does not. Esther seems to line up. Psalms 151 lines up. Daniel, that is another one that's kind of iffy because it talks about Bel and the dragon. It seems a little far-fetched, but again, I don't put too much into that one. Yeah. Exactly, Dominique. Yep. Do you take the book as truth? Some of those, yes, I do, but not the ones that I told you that I have some issues with. That doesn't line up with scripture. Yes, Deborah, Jasher is mentioned in the Bible, but what has been handed down to us that is called Jasher has been manipulated. But yes, the word Jasher means record. Jasher is not a person. It's a Hebrew word, Yashar, which means record. Yes, she Shepherd of Hermaz is, I think it lines up pretty well. I have Shepherd of Hermaz as well. Yes, Dominique, yep. Revelation almost didn't make it. Yep, that's true. Yeah, Martin Luther didn't like a lot of things. And we're not talking about Martin Luther King either. We're talking about Martin Luther, the Protestant. Okay, Carmen, it was great having you here. Yes, we will keep you in our palals as well. No, 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 you're okay. We all have misspellings. That's all right. English, not the book of Daniel, but what has been added in this book is not, it comes after the 12th chapter of what we know as Daniel in the Bible. It's not the same as Daniel in the Bible. It's added addition to the 12 chapters that are already in the Bible. Arian, you're confused. What is it that we all believe in? So we're not Christian. We don't call the Messiah Jesus. We don't use the word God. We don't use the word Lord. We use the Hebrew names. Even though we speak English, just like your name, Arian, if that was your real name, Arian, I don't know if that's your name or not, but if you was to go overseas, no matter what language they speak, you would be known as Arian. They would spell it with their characters or their alphabet, and they would make the phonetic sound of your name, Arian, right? You're Persian. It is your real name. Okay, Arian. So just like you coming from Persia, aka Iran, as they like to call it today, right? So from Persia, your name being Arian, just like we're saying, and I'm saying your name right now here in the English speaking world, we still call you Arian. If you go to Korea, they're still going to call you Arian. Well, the creator, his name is Yahuwah. He should be called Yahuwah, not Lord. Lord is a title, that's not a name. God is a title, that's not a name. There's many gods, there's many lords, but his name is not Yahweh, his name is not Jehovah, his name is Yahuwah from the Abrit or from the Hebrew. And so that's why we call him Yahuwah. We don't use Jehovah and Yahweh. Those are hand-me-downs, swamp meat Louis names that has been given to us by the people who call themselves Jews and are not. They are Yiddish speaking people. That is a Germanic tribe passing themselves off as being from the Middle East, and they're not. And so that's what's caused a lot of the issues. And so we are called the Nazarene, the followers of the way. We are a very minor remnant people on this earth who have been given the truth. And so this is why we meet here on this digital platform called YouTube. We're spread all over the earth. And we're not the only group, but we're one of the ones that do come here on YouTube and meet this way. So we don't believe in the cross. We don't use the word cross. Okay, Alexis, you have a great rest of your night. We don't attend churches. We believe in the 10 Commandments as they were written, not changing it. We believe in keeping the Sabbath, not Sunday worship, even though our Sabbath right now is on the pagan day known as Sunday. You can kind of say it's Christian, but Christianity was birthed from what we believe as it was handed down to the disciples. When the Romans got a hold of the belief, which began as a Hebrew belief, they changed it into a Greco-Roman belief called Christianity. If you read the New Testament, you'll see that the Messiah, who they call the Christ, we don't use that terminology, he did not give us Christianity. Hence, this is the reason why we're not called Christians, because we don't even call him the Christ. The word Christ comes from Krishna. And if you know who Krishna is, that is from India. And that came about when the Greek emperor known as Alexander the Great conquered West India. And this is when he was exposed to the six-armed figure known as Hare Krishna. Okay, Vishnu. And this is where they took on the term Christ or Christ. Yeah, so we don't use that. Dominique, yeah, there are those. Paul is very misunderstood. True name Shaul. The apostle Shaul, his teachings have been twisted. This is a Pharisee of Pharisees. He knew very well what it meant to follow the law. And Christianity has taken his words and twisted them to get people to see what they want them to see, which is to be anti-law, to be lawless. Exactly, Diane. But I appreciate the questions and the comments. It's so wonderful. It allows us to be able to share with one another about the truth. And for those of you who are on the fence, who may not know a lot of this, please keep coming back. Yahuwah will continue to reveal more of himself to you. Mm-hmm. That's right, Diane. In fact, I'm gonna pin what you just said. Bam. There it is, down at the bottom. That's right, Deborah. Mm-hmm. We are born again to the true name of Yahuwah in commandments, laws, and statutes. Yes. We don't look down at other people. We don't think of ourselves as more superior because we used to be one of them. We know how it feels to be deceived through this deep depth of deception. And so unless Yahuwah opens your eyes, you're going to be stuck in that lie. You have to have the heart to want to know the truth. And if you do, Yahuwah will reveal himself to you. He will show you where you have been taught wrong. And he will make it very clear to you. Exactly, Akodi Nancy. Great to see you. Shabbat Shalom to you, Akodi Nancy.
What's up, baby boy? What's up, Onyx? What's up, baby boy?
Mm-hmm. Let me see something here. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find this passage in Maccabees. Let me see, where is it? It must have been in one of my other books. I don't know where it is. I am looking for a place where it talks about where they had erected Zeus in the temple. Oh, JJ, they always want to go. They always want to go for a walk. Aki Manuel, is it in Acts? Oh, well, I know the one in Acts, yeah, but I was looking for the one in Maccabees. First Maccabees, where it talks about how they erected a statue of Zeus and then they slew a pig on the altar of Yahuwah. I know it's in Maccabees 1. I just can't recall exactly where it was. 154, Diane? Yeah, but it doesn't actually say, it just says on the 15th. Let me show you guys. Let me make sure that's what you said. Yeah, First Maccabees 154. Here it says, and on the 15th day of Chislev, in 144 of the 50th year, of the 5th year, 44th and 5th, so 145th year, they built an abomination of desolation upon the altar, and in the cities of Yehuda on every side they built idol altars. Second Maccabees 6, let me see if that's the one I'm thinking. Let's go to Second Maccabees 6. It actually says that they had and not long after this the king sent out an old man Athens to compel the Yahudim to depart from the laws of their fathers, and also to pollute the sanctuary in Jerusalem and call it by the name Jupiter Olympius, and to call the sanctuary in Gerizim by the name of Jupiter. Now we know Jupiter is the same as Zeus, the protector of strangers. Lester, you say first Maccabees 154, by the name of Jupiter, protector of strangers, even as they were that lived in the place, but sore and utterly grievous was the visitation of this evil. Let's see, so it's forbidding dallied women within sacred precincts, moreover brought inside and was befitting. Places of offering was filled with those abominable things that had been prohibited by laws, and a man could neither keep the Sabbath, nor observe feast of the fathers, nor so much as confess himself to be a Yahudi. On the day that the king's birth, every month, they were led along with bitter constraints to eat of offerings, and when the feast of Bacchus came, they were compelled to go in the procession to honor Bacchus. And the Bacchus, we know Bacchus has to do with the bull, wearing wreaths of ivy, and a decree went out to the neighboring Greek cities by suggestion of Ptolemy, and they should observe the same conduct against the Yahudim, and should make them eat of the offerings, and that they should be unalive, such as didn't choose to go over to the Greek rites, so they would making them Hellenistic. So to present misery was for all to see, for two women were brought up for having circumcised their children, and these, when they had led them publicly around the city, with the babes hung from their breasts, they cast down headlong from the wall. That is so terrible. The evils. Okay, so let me go back to First Maccabees 154. I think that's the one that I just read here, right? First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 54. Yeah, that's the one I just read earlier, Lester, where it talks about the abomination of desolation. hmm Dominique Ray, the ancient Hebrews, they actually did. It's the Yiddish people that don't believe it. But let me show you in the book of Daniel that it's clearly there. Okay, so let me bring it up for you. Where did I put my scriptures? Where in the world did it go? How did that book disappear? Oh, there it is. It's above my head. So let me show you, Dominic. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12. Notice what it says here, Dominic. Now at that time, Michael, that is the archangel Michael, shall stand up, the great head who is standing over the sons of your people, that is Yasharal. And there shall be a time of distress, we know this as the great tribulation, such as never was since there was a nation, not until that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone who is found written in the book, that is the book of life, and many who sleep in the dust of the earth wake up. That's the first resurrection. Some to everlasting life, and some to reproaches and everlasting harborance. Some other translations say everlasting damnation. And those who have insight shall shine like the brightness of the expanse, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. So let me show you that in the King James Version. Daniel chapter 12. Verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. That would be your everlasting damnation. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Let me go back here to the apocrypha. Mm-hmm. Where is Gentiles profane, Matthias, fathers in word. Yeah, it must be that one in second Maccabees chapter 6 where it talks about Jupiter, because Jupiter is Zeus. Let's see, gladness, but all this. The sword of Apollonius. Yes, Nick. We found the one in Second Maccabees. I'm just kind of scanning through the document right now, just seeing. So notice here. And they brought the priest's garments and the first fruits and the tithes, and they stirred up the Nazarites. That's the Nazarim, who had accomplished their days. So these are the ones who have taken the Nazarite vow, which is accomplishing their days. And they cried aloud towards the Shammah, saying, What will we do with these men, and where will we carry them away? And your set apart place is trodden down and profaned, and your priests are in heaviness and brought low. And behold, the Gentiles are assembled together against us to destroy us. You know what things they imagine against us. How will we be able to stand before them except you be our help? And they sounded the trumpets, that is the shofars, and they cried with a loud voice. And after this, Yahuda appointed leaders of the people, captains of thousands and captains of 100, captains of 50s and captains of 10s. And he said to those who were building houses and were betrothing women, or wives, I should say, and were planting vineyards and were fearful that they should return, each man to his own house according to the law that is written in the Torah. And the army removed and encamped upon the south side of Emmaus. And Yehuda said, Gird yourselves and be valiant men, courageous men, and be readiness against the morning, that you might fight with these Gentiles that are assembled together against us to destroy us in our set apart place. For it is better for us to die in battle than to look upon the evils of our nation and the set apart place. Nevertheless, as may be the will of the Shammah, so will he do. Interesting. Let's see. What do we have here? All right. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, we just looked over that. Let me go back and look at that again just to make sure, because we read from 54. See, 54 to 64. Yeah, we had read this earlier, Diane. Right here. The 15th day of Chislev, the 145th year. They built an altar, which was the abomination of desolation. Upon the altar in the cities of Yehuda on every side they built idols. This was spoken of in Daniel, the abomination of desolation. And at the doors of the houses and the streets of burned incense, and they tore in pieces the books of the law, the Torah, which they found, and set them on fire. And wherever was found with any a book of the agreement, and if any consented to the law, the king's sentence delivered him to unaliving. So did they in their might to Yasharal, to those who were found month by month in the cities. And on the 5th and 20th day, or the 25th day of the month, they offered upon the idol altar, an idol altar of God, or of Yahuwah, and women that had circumcised their children they put to death according to the commandment. And they hanged their babies about their necks, and destroyed their houses, and those who had circumcised them. And many in Yasharal were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat unclean things, and they chose to die, that they might not be defiled by the meats, and that they might not profane the set apart agreement, the marriage vows, the contract, and they were unalived. And there came exceedingly great wrath upon Yasharal. Yeah, I tell you, history is going to repeat itself. History is going to repeat itself. Mm-hmm. Very crazy. Let me look up something here real quick. The Greeks had placed Zeus in the So see, this is what I was looking at here, or that I just pulled up. An abomination in the temple. In 168 BC, the Greek king Antiochus Epiphanes invaded Jerusalem and captured the city. He marched into the Jewish temple, erected a statue of the Greek god Zeus, and offered a pig on the altar of incense. This provoked a revolt in Yehuda, as the Yahudim fought and removed Antiochus' sacrilege. Let me go here. Under the leadership of the Maccabees. Okay, yes. Why don't they bring up the passage in Maccabees? Let me go here. Antiochus Epiphanes. Yeah, so it is the one that we read in Maccabees 2-21. So that is it, 2nd Maccabees 6. That's the one that we read. So that is the one. So it's the translation that is causing the issue, because they used the word Jupiter instead of juice, instead of Zeus. Yep, Arian, they made the Messiah white. Yeah. So let's see, let's go back here to 2nd Maccabees chapter 6. Manuel, I don't have my Sefer, but I tell you what I will do. I'm going to read it out of Yah scriptures. Let's see how it's recorded there, shall we? In this big old gargantuan of a book. Let me back this thing up. Okay, let me open this up here. Let me find out where the Maccabees begin in this book. Maccabees. Show yourself, Maccabees. Maccabees 2, that is page 2961. So it's in the back of the book, 2961. 29. Oh, it is way in the back. $29.61. There's Maccabees. Okay, so let's go to chapter 6. There's chapter 2. There's chapter 3. Chapter 4. Wow. Chapter 5. Chapter 4 was huge. Chapter 6. Okay, here we go. Chapter 6. There we go. Now we reading it. Now we reading it. Let's go and read this, shall we, Miss Picard? Starting at verse 1. Second Maccabim, chapter 6, verse 1. Let me blow that up a little bit. Oh, a little too much. There we go. Not long after this, the sovereign sent an old man of Athenai to compel the Yahudim to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of Alua Alahim, and to also pollute the Hakal, that is the temple, in Yerushalayim, and to call it the temple of Zeus Olympios, and the one in Gerizim, the Zeus, the defender of foreigners, as those that dwelt in the place desired. The coming of this trouble was very grievous to the people, for the Hakal was filled with loose behavior and revelry by the Gentiles, who played with this word, and went aside with women within the borders of the Kadash place, and besides that brought in objects that were not right. The altar was also filled with abominations which the law forbids, neither was it allowed for a man to guard Shabbat days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Yahudi. And every month in the day of the sovereign's birth, they were taken under bitter constraints to eat of the offerings. And when the fast of Dionysus was kept, the Yahudim were compelled to go in the procession of Dionysus carrying ivy. So in the other translation, it said Bacchus, which is Dionysus. And a decree went out to the neighboring cities of the Gentiles by the word of Ptolemaeus, against the Yahudim, that they should observe the same practice and be partakers of their offering. And whoever would not conform themselves to the ways of the Gentiles, that is the Hellenistic ones, should be put to unaliving. Then one could see the present misery. For there were 2 women who were brought, who had circumcised their children, whom they had openly led round about the city, the infants hanging on their breasts. They threw them down from the wall, and the others had run together into caves nearby to guard the Shabbat day secretly. Being discovered by Philippos, were all burned together, for they would not for conscience defend themselves in honor of the most Kadash day. Now I plead to those that read this book that they do not be discouraged because of these calamities, but that they would consider these punishments not to be for destruction, but for the disciplining of our nation. For it is a sign of his great righteousness when evildoers are not given any length of time, but promptly punished. For he does not deal with us as with other nations, whom Yahuwah patiently awaits to punish till they have come to the fullness of their sins, lest having come to the height of sin, he should take vengeance on us afterwards. And therefore he never withdraws his kindness from us, and though he punishes with adversity, yet he never forsakes his people. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning to us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man in a well-favored presence, was forced to open his mouth and to eat pig's flesh. What? That is terrible. But he, choosing rather to die with honor than to live stained with such an abomination, spat it out and went to torture of his own accord, as is necessary for those to go that stand firm against such matters that are not lawful to be tasted even for love of life. But those who were in charge of that wicked feast took aside the man because of the old acquaintance they had with him, and urged him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he ate the flesh that was taken from the offering commanded by the king, that in doing so he might be delivered from death and find favor with them of the old friendship. But he began to consider wisely, as was befit for his years, and the excellency of his old age, and the honor of his head, in which gray had come, and his most upright Torah from childhood, or rather the Kadash law made given by Alua Alahim. Therefore he answered accordingly, and requested they immediately send him to the grave. For it is not proper for our age, he said, in any way to pretend whereby many young ones might think that Eleazar, being 90 years old, had now gone to a strange religion. So he wanted to keep his dignity, he wanted to keep his integrity, than to show people as if he was eating a fake piece of pig meat, but eating something else that was so-called kosher, that was agreeable with the law. He was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. You might as well kill me. I'm not playing this. Wow. How beautiful. Okay, let me see here. I got to clear up some of this stuff. I got stuff all coming up on my phone all at the same time. Okay. Is it just me, or are you guys saying some more stuff and I'm just not seeing it? Why is it like I'm stuck with the last thing I got was Orange Julius from Cody Nazareth. Am I missing a whole bunch of comments again? I think I am. Why, YouTube? Why do you do this to me? Yep, I think I'm not able to see your guys' comments. YouTube done messed me up again. I don't know why they do that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Cody Nazareth, you said our comments are all scrolling by. Sorry you can't see them, Mark. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Cody Nazareth. I can't see them. The last thing that I have, like I said, from you is Orange Julius, and I can't see anything after that. Let me see here. Let me see if I can unpin the message. See if that'll allow me to see your comments. Nope. Not doing nothing. It is not doing a nair thing. Not a nair. All right. We are almost, we're a little over 5.5 hours today on live. So I'm going to shut her down at 6, meaning 6 hours, which would be in about 20 minutes. Man, that sucks that I can't see what you guys are saying. That just makes it all the better when we're having these lives. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and remove that and that. I don't know what I need to do to get that to clear up, but it won't do it. It won't do it. Let me see. I'm just gonna click on certain things and just see what happens. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not doing much. I don't know why. don't know what's going on here. Let me see if I flip this around. It's not changing nothing. Yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know why I can't see you guys' comments. Welp. Let's see. Do I have anything else that I want to share with you all before we call it? Let me see here. Let me go to TT.
Imagine what the Christians will be saying to King David if he were alive today. Oh, wow. Because he observes the Torah.
I like the content of this Aki right
There is a
here.
reason why Yahuwah, the Most High, said this about King David. He is a man after my own heart.
Yes.
Why? Well, let's check it out. Yes, the book of Tehillim, Psalms, and you already know what chapter. 119, the longest chapter in Scripture. Verse 1, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the Torah of Yahuwah. Verse 18, open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your Torah. Verse 34, give me understanding and I shall guard your Torah. Yeah, I shall keep it with my whole heart. Oh, I love this one. So shall I guard your Torah continually forever and ever. What does he say about the wicked? Horror has taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake your Torah. Verse 55, I have remembered your name, O Yahuwah, in the night and have guarded your Torah.
He is reading from the
This I
Sefer,
had
in case any of
because
you
I
are
kept
wondering.
your precepts. 72, the Torah of your mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. Whew. 92, unless your Torah had been my delights, I should then have perished in my affliction. 97, oh, how love I your Torah. It is my meditation all day. 113, I hate vain thoughts, but your Torah do I love. 150, they draw nigh that follow after mischief. They are far from your Torah. One of my favorites, great peace have they which love your Torah, and nothing shall offend them.
That's right.
Now, King David was a sinner just like you and I. But he repented wholeheartedly and returned back to the Father by keeping his commandments and following his Torah, his instructions. This is why our Heavenly Father said, he is a man after my own heart. So the question for you and I is, whose heart are we demonstrating? Imagine what the Christians
so that's
will
that
be
one.
saying to King David
Let's
if
go
he
here.
were alive today. Oh, wow.
Where is it here?
Because he observes the Torah.
Oh, is
In
it
actual
this one?
fact, there is a reason why.
Okay. So let's hear this one here. Listen to this. I know some of you guys probably saw
Let me get
this.
this right. The Department of Justice just launched an anti-Christian task force, and correct me if I'm wrong. So basically what this is if you believe in something other than Christianity, it's going to be an issue. And that's a question. You're basically telling me that if you don't believe in Christianity, they're going to send people to your door, knock on your door. Hey, we heard You heard what? We heard you don't believe in Christianity. Now, I believe in Christianity, but there are other people who have their own beliefs. So you're telling me right here in the United States of America, you are entitled to believe what everyone believes? And if you don't believe what everyone believes, they're gonna have people knocking at your door. We heard you don't believe what we believe. That don't sound right. Anybody, matter of fact, everybody with any type of information, let me know what you know about this. I just turned on this app, haven't been on the app all day. I need to know, because I'm hearing this and this don't sound good. United States of America is not a third world country. Nah. So let me get this right. The Department of
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty insane. This is another one that was sent to me. Listen to this one.
What's happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin, but it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government.
But there you go. While we were all distracted with the Epstein list and all the drama between Mr. Golden Dawn and Chip in the Brain and wars and rumors of wars, we can see that the Mark of the Beast Infrastructure Act has been passed. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I say Mark of the Beast Infrastructure Act? I meant the Genius Act. As we can see right here, House passes Stablecoin Genius Act. Short little summary right here is the House approved legislation to regulate stablecoins Thursday and later approved 2 other crypto bills. Well, now for those wondering, what does this mean? Well, it shows that we are one step closer to the Great Tribulation with the Mark of the Beast and a complete surveillance enslavement state. So we can see right here from this article, the Senate just passed the Genius Act, CBDCs in sheep's clothing. Now I will go ahead and read some of this article for you guys right here. So on June 18th, while the country was distracted with headlines about Mr. Golden Dawn and Iran, the U.S. Senate quietly advanced the Genius Act, a bill designed to, quote, legitimize, unquote, stablecoins. But in reality, it paves the way for a permissioned, surveilled, and tightly controlled digital currency regime. Now, apparently, according to this author, they predicted this back in their own piece titled The Great CBDC Bait and Switch. We warned the stablecoins would be used as a Trojan horse to usher in the exact same kind of financial surveillance grid promised by central bank digital currencies, which is CBDCs. My goodness, who could have saw this coming? I don't know. Now let's continue with this article. Framed as a regulatory win for innovation, the Genius Act, or what I like to call it, the Mark of the Beast Act, does far more than set rules. It effectively mandates that all legal stablecoins will fully be backed, regularly audited, and integrated into the surveillance machinery of the U.S. state. Wow, lovely. Only permitted payment stablecoin issuers may operate, and those issuers must comply with extensive oversight under the Bank Secretary Act, including...
So, as many of you can see there, we are getting close. We are truly getting close to this time when you cannot buy, sell, or trade unless you receive this mark. Now we know about the name JESUS. We know about the image of JESUS, but now they're going to have a mark about JESUS. Is it going to be the cross? Is it going to be 6-pointed star, or maybe both of them together? One will know when that time comes how this is all going to play out. But we are getting close to that time, Mishpachah. But we know that Yahuwah has not given us a spirit of fear. He has given us love. He has given us a sound mind. And so, as we come to a close of another Shabbat, I want to thank all of you for coming together once again in the name of Yahuwah. May we continue to call for the Mishpachah, the family. May we stay strong. May we stay encouraged. knowing that we are going to reap a wonderful reward when this is all said and done. That is eternal life. As I look out right now out of my window and I see the sun setting behind the mountains, it seems so calm and beautiful. But there's so much that's happening in this world right now that is nothing, far, far from beauty. It's calamities and catastrophes. May we ever keep Yahuwah upon our mind. You know, this is what separates us from so many people, is that Yahuwah takes up so much time in our mind where others don't even go through their day, not even once to think about him. Not even once do they even contemplate their life until something happens to them. They get sick or almost get into a so-called car accident or whatever. But his people, they keep their minds on Yahuwah steadily. You may go an hour without thinking about him, but all of a sudden he comes back into the forefront of your mind. At least that's the way it is for me, and I'm sure many of you are the same. I wish I could see your comments, but I can't. And that's what I do. I like to think about Yahuwah constantly. It just keeps me on my toes. It keeps me thinking about him. And it keeps me thinking about the mishpachah, the family. And so I look forward to this cross-country trip with my Asha and my 2 fur doggies. And we are going to hopefully see some of you during this 2-week trip. I think I told some of you that I will be meeting my biological side of my dad's side of my family that I have never met, and they've never met me, for the first time on this trip. Unfortunately, my biological father has passed away, but Yahuwah willing, if my aunt doesn't pass away before I see her, she would be the next closest thing to my dad that I'll get to see. I have 3 half-sisters out there somewhere in this country. I have their names, but I don't know how to locate them. One is, from what I heard, she is a state trooper in the state of New York. I would think that would be kind of easy to find her, but I haven't tried to find her as of yet. But yeah, it's very interesting to be able to go see my family. So I look forward to that. All right. Our Aki Manuel says that he made a song called Yahuwah on My Mind, speaking of thinking about Abba. That sounds wonderful. Do you want to send that to my email? Maybe I can play it right before we call it a day. We'll play that song. We'll close out with that song. Send it to me, send it to my email. Let me look out for it here. It feels so weird not seeing any of your guys' comments. It just makes the live seem so bland. It seems so bland. Let's see. Nothing yet from my Aki. So I'm going to play a song by our Aki Manuel, the Protector. As soon as I receive it, I'm going to play it, and then we are going to call it a night. There's still 60 of us here. That's amazing. doing 6 hours of live and we still got 60 people. That is truly amazing. And this is on YouTube, you know, and because on TikTok, of course, we get more people that can just, you know, accidentally come to our channel and they stick around and listen. But this is amazing that we still have this many people here on this live. Okay, Manuel, I haven't received anything yet. You must be still uploading it. Oh, here it is. I just received it. Manuel sent you. Okay, get your file. Let me see. Let me see. Aki. What is it talking about? Nope, that's not right. Why is it telling me to download something? Oh, here's the link. Let's go to the link. Nope, it's telling me to do the same thing. What is that? It never made me do that before. Aki Manuel, it's making me download something just to play it. I never had that before. Usually when I click on your wave file, it'll download, but now it's telling me I gotta download a WeTransfer app. Oh, that's terrible. Why do I have to download that? I gotta do too much here, Aki. It wants me to sign up and all of this. We're gonna have to play it another time, Ak. Thank you for sending it, though. We'll have to do it another time where we can do that properly. Okay, Mishpaka. Well, I want to thank all of you again. And of course, thank our Heavenly Abba Yahuwah for another Yom that has come and gone. As the sun is setting here on the West Coast, I want to thank all of you. Yeah, you sent it to my phone now, Aki Manuel, but I can't open it while I'm here on the live. You guys won't be able to hear it, but we'll play it next time. We'll have to play it another time, Aki. Well, Mishpaka, may Yahuwah Baruch you, may he keep you, may he continue to allow the light of his countenance to shine upon each and every last one of you, including your Mishpaka, your family, your friends, your co-workers. May you have shalom that passes all understanding that is given to us by our Abba Yahuwah. And may his name be placed upon each and every one of you. We are favored and we are the ones that Yahuwah has chosen. We did not choose him, he chose us. May we recollect what we have learned this day, this Yom. May we meditate on those things that are in the forefront of your mind, because there was a lot of information given today. But whatever that it is that sticks out in your mind, think upon that. Chew on the words of our Abba Yahuwah, and may he reveal himself more to you. Heavenly Abba, may you show yourself in our dreams and show us visions of yourself, O Yah. Speak to us, your people, we Palal. Abba, we continue to ask that you do not deal with us according to our ways, that you do not deal with us according to our thoughts, that you do not deal with us according to our actions, O Yah. May your long-suffering and compassion be showered upon each and every one of us, O Abba. for we do not deserve anything from you. We deserve chastisement. We deserve to be judged. We deserve to be thrown into the lake, but we thank you, O Abba, for your mercy that is beyond all comprehension. We thank you for your love most of all, for without your love, we would be so lost. To the Abba Yahuwah, may your name be highly lifted up, and may you continue, O Abba, to teach us your ways. May we not forsake your commandments. May we not forsake your laws. May we stay on the straight and narrow that leads to everlasting life. May we stay on the ancient paths of our forefathers that came before us, and the apostles, and the Nabaim, the prophets, who wrote down your words so carefully so that we may have them this yom. We thank you for your yom, your day, this Shabbat, O Abba Yahuwah. All these things we petition and pray and ask for before you, in the name of your Son, your Bane, Yahusha, HaMashiach, the Messiah. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, and Hallelujah. Go in shalom, mishpachah. Until next time, Yahuwah willing, I will see you next week. Unless something happens between now and then. I am known as Ak Jimmy, also known as Brother Jimmy, aka Ambassadors of Yah. Until next time, shalom, mishpachah. Shabbat shalom.